Hello, Basic Brian here. Today I'm going to talk about influencers' books that I have that shape me, my ideas, or maybe their ideas and mine just kind of relate in a way. But nowadays, you kind of buy books based on people's personality and how they present themselves online. I'm kind of stealing this idea from that carefree wandering YouTuber, philosopher, man with prolificity and his way of describing it. But I'm just gonna show off some books that kind of shape me or that I agree with, that I might watch a lot on YouTube and I might get ideas from, or might be colonized by, as some people say as well. I've heard said before, but maybe that makes sense. I'm just gonna go over a few books, or like 10 books more or so. This one is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This book is kind of a self-help book by Mark Manson, originally a blogger, and his idea is to make self-help books that don't suck. So he's trying to have an edge with the self-help books. I actually got this as a gift from my sister, or maybe brother-in-law as well. So I do watch his content from time to time on YouTube, and I haven't finished this, but I've read a lot of it, and it's a fun, entertaining way to get a self-help dose. Next up is not kind of a recent kind of book, but this is the Phil Collins autobiography. I haven't finished it yet, but it is from somebody who's still alive, a book I might have bought because I like their personality and their music, what they do, their talent. So I have Not Dead Yet, Phil Collins, very English. Started it, haven't finished it, but really adore the guy, big fan. And next up is another musician, Bob Dylan. This is a chronicle. This is about a few various times in his life, how he got a break, and how he dealt with the 80s and switching things when things were he was kind of running out of ideas. I also have his other book, The Philosophy of Modern Song, I think, or Music, I forget, which is very different from this book, more brief, but this one is more of a autobiography. That one is not. It's just kind of his opinions on like 100 songs. The next one is Brian McLaren. This is just one of his books. He's a emergent Christian speaker, author, and somebody I definitely got addicted to watching his interviews and talks on YouTube. Very left-leaning and just an affable guy. Really like his stuff. I haven't read, he's got one coming out, it just came out, Life After Doom, I think it's called. And this one is Why Buddhism is True by Robert Wright, one of my favorite online commenters, content makers, non-zero as he goes by. Does a lot of talking content that you just listen to. Used to be part of Blogging Heads, and he rebranded since then, but he's somebody I like to listen to talk about current events and just ideas and philosophy, and his talks with other people. He's a very good, interesting person, very funny, a little dry at times, but sympathetic. But his biggest thing is cognitive empathy, but don't want to get too much into it. This next one is another musician, Dr. Frank, or Frank Porter, or not Porter, Frank Portman from Mr. T Experience. But this is actually a young adult novel. I'm reading this one right now. I read the first one of the series, but this is the second one in it, King Dork approximately. And I did read King Dork. Another person who is very interesting and very intellectual, but this one is more about the humor and the adolescent experience of growing up and being different in normal society, I guess. Or this next one is It's Not You, Identifying and Healing from Narcissistic People. This is Ramani Durvasula. Dr. Ramani is mainly how she goes by. She does very consistent content, a lot of content. She's a very good speaker, very interesting. And her book is pretty good as well. I haven't finished it yet. I will watch her content from time to time and binge it at times, but it's very good stuff, interesting. Maybe not entirely good, but I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy her presentation. And things are different now. Drinking my version of a margarita. Ooh. This next one is an actual philosopher, Charles Taylor. I've read one of his other shorter books. It's very interesting. This is probably the most nuanced writer that I have or figure. He's actually a philosopher. There's just spare talks of him on YouTube. He's very old. I'm surprised he's still alive. But this is a secular age, and he's a Catholic and a philosopher. He probably identifies himself in a lot of ways, but his books are interesting to read, and it's in touch with the mind and the heart as well, logic and the heart. And he writes in an empathetic way that is very good and interesting. And he looks back at ancient times, medieval times, maybe not ancient times, and Christianity in our secular age, and ponders about it in very interesting ways, and maybe melancholic, but not necessarily melancholic, but in a constructive way, and encouraging maybe Hegelian kind of synthesis from what's going on with secular and Christians. And this one's probably the most controversial that I have. GABP needs no introduction, and he gets all the hate in the world. So I'll leave it at that, but this is his second work for general readers. And as a YouTube famous person, status high, love her or hate him, this is Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. And the last one is Pat the NES Punk's book in the gaming YouTube as well. Pat Contri, as he goes by here, reviews of every Nintendo Entertainment System game released in America, with Pat as the editor. There's other essays and sections in here with reviews written by other people than Pat, but he writes a lot of the reviews, probably more than half of them, and it's a nice encyclopedia. You get a lot of Pat's personality in here as well, and in his co-host Ian Ferguson, and you get other guests like the gaming historian and James Rolfe in here, the angry video game nerd, contributing. So these are just some books that I have from people still alive who are most likely influencers or entertainers. Let's That's all I wanted to talk about. It might give you a glimpse of how I am and what clicks with me, some of my ideas, and thank you for watching. Let me know somebody you've latched onto if you'd like, or whatever you want. Would like to become an individual person, but it's hard to be original, and these are our times. All the best. Thank you for watching. Signing off.